everybody doing today? Happy Wednesday, September 23rd. What do we got here? We got 7 days left. 7 days left in the third quarter, and then our fourth quarter starts. We can get some challenges out to all of you. Challenge yourself to be a little bit better for this next quarter. What are you going to do a little differently? What are you going to commit to? So today I'm going to talk about what we can do to plan for the fourth quarter, what we can continually do to make ourselves a little better every day to get better for this fourth quarter. If you watched the sales meeting yesterday, a couple great points were made. Jeff made a point of having a morning routine. So that's going to be some of our talk today, morning routines. How do we get a good morning routine? How do we implement it into a schedule? And what is that going to do to benefit us? Why is that going to be important? And then Thomas had a really good quote about habits and doing something different. So today I'm going to try and pair all that together. We're going to talk about the Art of Life Betterment, which is one of our tools that we have at Beckens Enterprises to help you get a overall timeline, outline, overview of what your quarter is going to look like and what you're going to commit to. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And there's also some other tools that you can use, that you can implement, like a wheel of life to get a good baseline to determine what you're going to focus on. So that's what I'm going to jump into today. We're going to talk about all these things and give you some tools to use so you can start planning for the fourth quarter. And as always, remember that all of us are always available for you. If you're ready to make a change, if you're ready to make a difference, if you're ready to do something different today than you've ever done previous, then reach out to us. That's what we're here for. I'm going to, let's see, get out of there and share my screen. Slideshow. So I usually have been putting slideshows together so you have something to kind of look at while you're doing this. Some of you are just listening, driving. Some of you are able to see. But just want to give you a tool that you can look at and use and see. So starting off, what's going to determine our successes? If you want to have a success this fourth quarter, what is going to determine that success? Well, the reality of it is, Thomas shared a quote with us yesterday on the meeting. It was from John Maxwell, and his quote is, "You'll never change your life until you change something you do daily. The secret of your success is found in your daily routines." And that couldn't be more true. We are, the quality of our life is determined by the quality of our habits. And what I'm going to end up talking about here a little bit, the quality of our life is directly related to the quality of our decisions. The quality of the decisions we make are related to the quality of the questions we ask ourselves. And we ask ourselves these questions and make decisions based on these questions. We start to form habits, daily routines, and rituals. If I never asked myself, what can I do to be better at this life? What can I do to be a better father? What can I do to be a better agent? What can I do to be a better coach, manager, mentor? What can I do to be better at those things? I would never do something different on a daily basis to try to get myself better. If I kept asking myself, why do these things keep happening to me? Why did this agent leave? Why did this happen? Why did that happen? Why am I always getting these bad things happening to me? That's a poor quality of question. And when I ask those questions, the decisions I make are going to be a lot less or a lot worse than the decisions that I would make if I asked myself a question: how can I be a better manager, coach, mentor to make sure that no one else even thinks of leaving? How can I be a better father, spouse, husband? How can I be better at those things? What can I do and actually be able to enjoy it? So you can see that the quality of the questions that you're going to ask yourself are going to determine the decision that you make, which is going to ultimately come back here and determine what you do on a daily basis, what your daily routine is. So our life is just a series of habits and rituals, but what we have to understand is not all of them are very beneficial to us. The things that we've been doing in the past have gotten us where we are today. They've got us the things that basically we are a sum of our habits and rituals, and that's where they've got us today. But it's not always beneficial, because we've talked to before and told you that your brain is not meant to keep you successful. Your brain is meant to keep you safe. So the habits and rituals that you form to keep yourself safe, that your brain is doing to keep yourself safe, aren't going to make you successful. So you have to be cognizant of what you're doing, cognizant of where you are at and the decisions that you're making. which means you have to be cognizant of the questions that you're asking yourself and the things that are coming into your head. So how can we do that? I'm going to jump ahead down to the end here. There we go. And I'm going to jump ahead down to this slide here. Here's one tool that we offer that's going to allow you and ask you to ask yourself some better questions today. Ask yourself some better questions about what your business is going to be like. And this is our Art of Life Betterment. This simple tool goes through pretty much all of the basic things that you're going to need to do to ask better questions, make better decisions, create better habits. But then also, it's also going to ask you about reason, purpose, goals, and it's going to get you on track to think a little bit differently. So if you haven't used this tool, if you haven't used any other tool, this is a great tool to start with. So when you look at it and we start from the top, it's going to start off with where are you right now? And what I'm going to briefly run through again is the success formula after I go through this. And that's predicated on knowing where you are. You have to know where you are to know where you want to get to. So where are you right now with this business? So if we don't know where we are, we're not going to know what we need to tweak, what we need to change, what we need to get better, where our commitments can be improved. So this starts off with your behavioral patterns questionnaire. And then we also have the more advanced personality service that that Jim has made available to us for a small fee. I highly suggest every single one of you takes the time to come right here and do this personality service profile. Do this one. This one's a little more in depth. What it's going to do is it's going to get a baseline of who you are, but it's also going to tell you a little bit about how you act under stress. And if you know who you are and you know where your tendencies go when you become stressed, it's going to make you more powerful to be able to control some of those actions or reactions that we have to those things. So basically know where you are. Where are you at right now? What's your personality style? How do you react to people? How do you communicate with people? How do you best communicate with people? And when you start thinking about these things, also start thinking about, am I a visual? Am I an auditory? Am I a kinesthetic? What are those traits of mine typically come out more, so I know how I communicate with people, and I know how I can change the way I communicate to make sure that I communicate with a customer much better. Because we can't expect our consumers to change to meet our needs. We need to change to meet our consumers' needs. So again, where are you? Let's know where you are at, figure out where your life is, figure out where your personality is, and then we start talking about goals. Now, to know goals, still, we have to know where you're at now. We have to know if you are going to rate your life or your business on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate it? So before we even jump into this primary aim, let's start thinking about if you were going to rate your business on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate it? Would it be a 4? Would it be a 5? Would it be a 9? Are you somebody who just does everything that's expected of you, has a schedule, gets results, follows up, closes deals, has all of their business accounts set in line so they know where their money goes, where their tax money goes, where their investment goes, where their savings is? Are you one of those people? Are you a 9? Or are you somebody who's a 1 you may get business, but you're a 1 because you have no systems in place. You don't show up. You basically fall into deals just because you're out and around talking to people, but it's never really a real estate conversation. It just kind of falls into them and you're only doing 4 or 5 deals a year. So which person are you? Where's your business? Or are you a 5 where, you know what, I'm content with where everything's at. I'm just not happy with it. I'd really like it to change. So where's your life in your business right now? And then once you know where that's at, start to think, what would make this life a 10? What would make my business a 10? So if I'm at a 5 and I'm at a 5 in my business, meaning, hey, I get some good results. I did 1 deal a month and I just really didn't commit to any income generating activities. I really didn't set a schedule. I didn't really consume any of the real estate knowledge that the company's been putting out to try and make myself a little bit better. I've just kind of skated through. We have to know, what would a 10 look like for you? Because it's not a 10 for us. A 10 for us would be to get you that business that you want that's going to make your life thrive. So what does a 10 look like for you in this real estate business? Is it to have 2 deals a month? Is it to have 3 deals a month? Is it to be able to take an entire December off because you worked your ass off all year and set those goals and have those systems? Is it to get a schedule in place? Is it to have consistent lead generation activities? What would make your business a 10? what would make that a 10 for you? And start thinking about, if you did everything exactly how you wanted it to be and your business was exactly where it should be, what does that life look like for you? Start thinking about that. And then your next step is, in your primary aim, we have to start looking forward even more than that. So if we were to create this perfect 10 business, and real estate in this business gave you everything that you wanted in the next 5 years, what does that look like? What does that life look like for you? That's what's really important about your primary aim. It's really important to start thinking about the future, because we know that whatever is a thought in our brain becomes things. So thoughts become things. Whatever we think about has the ability to become something. If we give it enough thought, enough direction, enough attitude, and we put some systems, processes, and places and intentions behind them, thoughts become things. So we want to start putting these thoughts in your brain of, what does your life look like in 5 years from now? If you have this perfect 10 real estate business, you're able to create everything that you want in the business, and we're able to implement that, and it gives you everything you like. What does life look like in 5 years? Where do you live? What does your house look like? And this form, the form that we have, the primary aim, has link, it's a link. So it starts giving you a template to ask you some of these questions. What do you like spiritually? What's your body like? What's your home life like? And what we're doing is we're trying to get you thinking outside of your comfort zone, outside of this zone that's kept you where you are, that's kept you comfortable, that's kept you safe, that's kept you right in this space. We're trying to get you to think outside of that. If we can get you to think outside of this comfort zone and start getting comfortable with the fact that, hey, I can create these things, now all of a sudden we have a little bit of a breakthrough. And if we can create that regularly on a daily basis through some routines, rituals, systems, and processes, and we can keep doing that, your comfort zone slowly starts to grow, because you get more and more comfortable with those uncomfortable situations. So if we want to start to get you thinking about that, the template of the primary aim, you don't have to just use that form. I actually encourage you to get a notebook of some kind and just start writing. Just sit down and just start writing about all of the things that you want to have in this life. That's a great template to use, but it's just a couple of series of questions for you to get started on it. Sit down and write down 100 things that you want to achieve or you want to accomplish. Start writing anything at all, but just start thinking about what your life is going to look like in 5 years if your business was a perfect 10 and able to create that. Then once we know what you want, because we need an outcome, we need a result, we need a why, we need a good reason why that we're doing it, but we also need to know this big goal that you have. We need to create a schedule. And what's the schedule? The schedule is, what am I going to do? How am I going to do that? If this is a perfect 10, what would that look like to me? So what would I need to start doing? What would I need to stop doing? And what would I need to keep doing more of? Those are the initial questions you want to ask yourself. And then you ask yourself, okay, when do I work real estate? When do I work real estate? I don't want to know when you prospect. I don't want to know when you make follow-up calls or when you schedule appointments. I just want to know, when do you work real estate? Don't cloud anything else up. When do I work real estate? Pick those times. Do you work real estate from 8 till 12 every day, take from 12 to 2 off, and then work from 2 until 4? Do you not clock in until 11 o'clock? Is it different schedule every day? Whatever that is, when do you work real estate? Because we want to know when you work real estate so we have that commitment in place. Any job that you get, if you want to be successful at that job and that business wants to be successful, what do they tell their employees? You come in at 9, you leave at 5, I'll pay you this much. This is what you're going to do every day, and I need you to do it with a smile. So they're going to tell you all of those things. So why would you not tell yourself the same things in your own business? When do I work real estate? What hours a day do I do it? How many hours a day? And then with that schedule, how many people are you going to need to talk to? We'll sit down with you and get these goals. So if we have what does our 5-year goal look like? Where would I need to be doing in 1 year to be on track for that 5-year? And then if I was going to be on track in a year, what would I need to do this quarter to be on track for that year? We will work with you to create a connections goal, a goal amount of people that you need to talk to on a daily basis based on your schedule to get to a certain amount per week, which is going to have you on track to have the number of deals and amount of income that you need for the quarter. So we're going to work with you on that, knowing who you are, where am I at, where you're going, what are my goals, what are the things I want, and then what is a map a massive action plan that I can put in place to get there. So it starts off with schedule, number of hours, number of connections we're going to do, and we'll work with you put that together. Next, education, your pillars to learn this quarter. Pick one, and it doesn't have to be just one of these. Pick something. What are you going to do this quarter? What is your focus going to be this quarter? This is where we start getting into what are your consistent lead generation activities going to be for this quarter to create the income that you need? Because if you haven't done it with the actions that you have now and the actions you've been putting into your business and it's not getting you what you want, you need to do something different. So ask yourself a better question. Not, man, I've always been so afraid of FSBOs. I'm not sure how I'm going to do that. How about asking yourself, how can I master the FSBO script, or how can I make this a fun and kind of engaging thing where I can call some people and provide some value and help them out and make my business better and make their life better? If you start thinking in a different way, better thinking creates better results. Otherwise you end up with stinking thinking. So we want to get better thinking, better thoughts, because thoughts create things, thoughts become things, and then our thoughts actually create better actions. Where your focus goes, your energy goes. And if you're focused on getting a better outcome, putting better activity in, creating a better life for yourself and a better experience for your consumer, and that's what you're really focused on, not just focusing on money, or focusing on how I'm not sure how I'm going to do this, you're going to get better results. So pick one of these things. What is going to be your focus for this quarter? What do you plan to do? Do you plan to work your sphere? Do you plan to work FSBOs? Do you plan to go through and farm the heck out of Remine with cell scores or neighborhoods? Do you plan to find anybody who's listed their property in the last 30 days and get into Remine and find those numbers and call around that neighborhood trying to find another listing, because we know that one's going to sell and there's going to be buyers that want it? What are you going to focus on for this next quarter? We did a couple months ago, a couple quarters ago, we were doing lane calls, and it was pretty much just to do the same thing, to get you focused on one thing that I'm going to do for this quarter that's going to create a better opportunity in my business. Where is my focus going to go? If you want mastery of something, you fully immerse yourself in it and you fully focus on this one thing. We don't try and become good and dabble in all of these things. We become absolute masters at something, which means we have to get clear, concise focus and know that this is what we're going to do for this quarter. And that's going to give you the best results. If you do that, you're going to have a much better opportunity to get the things that you want. So once we have that, once we know who you are, once we know where you're at, where you're headed, and we start putting this plan together, we also need to know, how do you want to be coached? Because accountability is key here. If these are things that you've never done before, and these are things that you've always said you're going to do and you've always wanted to do, why is it going to be different now? Why would you say you're going to do it this time? Previously, you said you were going to do it. You put the reasons why, you got a goal, you did all that, you just didn't do it. And most of the time it's because no one's there holding you accountable. It's too easy to do something else. Well, I'm going to tell you this, it's too painful to not do the things that you want to do, because you either have one of two things. You have the pain of going through it and following through with what you said you're going to do and being uncomfortable for a short period of time, or you have the pain of regret, wishing you would have done it sooner. And I know there's probably a lot of you looking at the way that the market's going right now saying, I wish I would have done this a little bit sooner. I wish I would have committed a little bit sooner, because look at all the business that's going on out there. I really wish I would have got focused a little bit sooner. It could have maximized some of those efforts. So do you want the pain of being a little uncomfortable for a short period of time? Or do you want the pain of regret, wishing, oh man, I really wish I would have done that. I wish I would have done things differently. I wish I would have saved a little bit more money, earned a little bit more money. So this accountability is really key for you. So once you tell us what you want, you tell us the schedule that you're going to be on, we're going to work towards holding you accountable every single week. I say for the first at least 30 days, you're going to be doing weekly coaching. Definitely do weekly, at least for the first 30 days. And then after that, you can jump to basically bi-weekly, so twice a month. And then you can even go to monthly, depending on how your actions are. But if you're somebody who has a habit of not following through on things because it gets a little uncomfortable, then let's get a coach. Let's get somebody in place here and make sure that we can hold you accountable. Then along the same lines of knowing where you're at, where's your current listings, where's your current pendings, what's the volume? I'd like to go one step further here. I want to know, where has all your past business come from? and I would be doing that here in this section, like what pillar are you going to focus on? Let's sit down and really track and know where's your past business come from. Where's everything, every closing that you've had, every lead that you've got, even if it didn't come to fruition, every business, piece of business that you had, rentals, listings, sales, anything at all, any lead that you had, where'd they come from? Let's see and break it down. If we can show you that, hey, all of your business came from your sphere and you haven't talked to your sphere in a year, it's kind of clear. Let's get on that. If you're showing that all of your business came from OpCity, well, great. Let's get you re-engaged with OpCity, and let's take every single freaking lead that we can from OpCity and start working those to get you more business, to get you more involved, more engaged. If it's all come from a farm, do that. So we're really just wanting to know, where's all your past business come from? Where's your current listings and pending contracts and volume, so we know where you're at and we know how we need to push and coach you. And then what are we going to be doing in the next 90 days? If we fully commit to what our quarter goal is, what our schedule is, what we're going to focus on for our business, showing up weekly and being held accountable with the current business we have, what are we going to commit to in this next 90 days? How many new listings are we going to have? How many new buyers are we going to have? How many new sales are we going to have all together and closed? So just knowing and tracking that. Tracking is key. And as I've talked before, these are the 7 things that every highly productive real estate agent should be doing. Taking control of your mind, your state of your mind, have consistent lead generating activities, work with a good quality coach, work towards your goals daily, exercise daily, whether it's mental, physical, both, help someone else track and measure your business. And when you look through this, it pretty much encompasses all of them. And it doesn't say exercise, but it's going to ask what your schedule is. And if we're going to try and get you into a fully productive mode, you probably want to have a little bit of walking exercise or mental or physical exercise, something like that. Every single one of these things that a healthy real estate agent is going to do is on here. Any successful real estate agent should be doing these 7 things. So this is a very powerful tool. So again, knowing where's your business at right now on a scale of 1 to 10, what would make it a 10? What would a level 10 in your business look like for you? Let's really get some results, some outcomes and goals that we want for your life, so we can really get some purpose and meaning behind them to really start pushing you to do that. And then, what would you need to start doing now? If you were to create this level 10, what do you need to start doing now that you're not doing? What do you need to stop doing that you've been doing that's not been very beneficial for you? And what would you need to do more of that you've been doing, you just know you haven't been doing enough? Then we start asking you this question right now. The last question that I'd ask you is, what can you do today to begin making that change? What's one thing you can do today? So I went around in our roundtable, our Apollo Beach roundtable, and I went around to everybody in the room and everybody online, and I asked them to commit to doing that. So like this says right here, you'll never change your life until you change something you do daily. The secret of your success is found in your daily routine. So what if we started by saying, what can you do today? What is a change you can make today that would make a difference in your day, in your week, and potentially even in your life? And what is something you can commit to doing today that's going to make your day better? And start naming some, commit to it, write it down. So the first thing we want to do is we never want to leave the scene of setting some goals, creating some of these outcomes without making some type of action and taking some action on it right away. We don't want it to get lost. Just for the same reason that whenever I talk to a new lead, I never want to leave that scene of that lead without calling them, usually at least the next day, because I only have a short period of time to make sure I maximize that effect that I had on them, calling them back within 1 to 3 days, usually 1 to 2 days. So whenever you set these goals, we need to make a commitment today. So do this, and what can you commit to today? So we went around the room and we had people say, I'm going to call 5 more contacts today than I did the day before. I'm going to clean up my Zap today and make sure I get out of red. I'm going to go through all of my emails because my email is a mess and it boggles my brain, and I'm going to unsubscribe to all of the BS that I get. So one thing that you're going to do today that's going to make a difference in your mind, in your business, in your outcome, that's going to just make you feel more successful. So that's something that I would challenge you to do. Then the other side of this is there's a couple other keys here, and these keys are knowing where to start. So this is just a different tool similar to what the Art of Life Betterment is. That's really geared to our real estate. this is going to be something very similar that's going to be geared to your daily rituals, your life, anything, whether you can see here, your physical body, your emotions, your relationship, time, career, how this is your wheel of life. So as you know, any successful business owner tracks their business. They track profits, they track margins, they track inventory. Anybody who works out tracks their weight, tracks their exercises, tracks the things that they do. So in order to get where you want to go, you've got to know where you are currently, and you have to be able to track the things that you're doing. So asking yourself, again, just like the first question I asked you, where do you consider your life in all of these fields on a scale of 1 to 10? If I was going to ask you to rate your right here career mission, like we just did, on a scale of 1 to 10, where would you rate it? What level 1 is going to be, it's not really doing anything for me. I'm not getting anything out of it. I'm not putting anything into it. I know I could do 10 times better. I'm not really earning as much income as I want. Level 10 is, I'm on absolute fire. I do everything I should be doing. I've got a schedule. I've got business that comes to me. I create my own business. I've got income. I've got savings. My taxes are paid. I've already got everything lined up for next year. I've got a business plan. What does that look like for you? So if you want to go one step further, go through the rest of these and do the same thing. So if we want to make a change in your business, but we are a life betterment company, let's make your life better. And then once you fill these in on this scale of 1 to 10, look at what your wheel looks like. Because if I was a 4 in my physical body, and I was a 2 in emotions and meaning, and I was an 8 in career and mission, and a 7 in finances, that's not a wheel that's going to roll very easily. It's not really going to get me where I want to go. I'm always going to feel a little bit off. And, if you listen to the video that I was playing before this meeting, Tony Robbins mentioned something about a blueprint. So we all have this natural blueprint feeling in our body or in our brain and in our life that says, this is what my life should be like. This is a blueprint of what my life should be like. Well, once we start doing this, we get an idea of what your life really is like based on you. And sometimes there's a large gap between where your life is and where you want your life to be, what that blueprint of your life, what you say your life should be like. But most of us, it's too painful to face where our life is to make the change to try and line it up with our blueprint. And the larger the gap is between the blueprint and where our life really is the more frustration, the more stress, the more issues, the more problems, and the more loss that we feel. So this is a really powerful tool to try to get you kind of unhinged from the normal things that you've been doing and get you focused on let's create some change. If you're not happy with your life, if you're stressed, if you're frustrated, you feel there's a large gap between what your life should be and what your life actually is, let's sit down and measure it. We have to know where you're at. We have to know what you're doing now, but then we also have to know the next thing is what does it look like to be a level 10 in those for you? So if we know where you are and we know where your stress is, like I'm stressed, I'm frustrated because this is my life, but this is what I want. Okay, well, what does it look like for you? Most of us don't even know what a level 10 looks like in our life, in our business, with our time, with our finances, with our relationships. We don't even know what that looks like because we've never committed to saying, this is what I want from my life. This is what a level 10 would look like in all of these different fields if I was going to commit to it. So that's the next key. Know where you are. Basically know that there's a gap here. Know that where you are right now, this is where my life is. Know what a level 10 would look like. This is basically, we're just creating that kind of a blueprint. And then what we'll do is we'll start piecing it together the same way that we do with the Art of Life Betterment for your career and mission. What are the things that we can do on a daily basis? What are the things we can commit to? What would we have to do to get those results? So what does a level 10 look like for you? And identify, just like I talked about, what are the actions you would need to do to get progress? What would you need to stop doing to create a level 10 in your business or in your finances or your physical body? What would you need to start doing? And what would you need to do more of that you're already doing? Identifying that, let's just call it out. If in my physical body, I'm a 4, what would I need to stop doing? Well, I need to stop staring at myself in the mirror saying, look how disgusting you are. I can't believe you let yourself get this bad. I need to stop consuming sugary things. I need to stop binge eating or eating whenever I want and get onto a schedule. What do I need to start doing? I need to start eating better. I need to create a meal plan. I need to start talking more positive about myself. And I need to start seeing myself in a different light. And what do I need to do more of? Well, more of, let's see, I did do a few things and I was eating a little regularly. So I need to do more of planning the meals that I had because I was already doing a little bit of that, just not enough. So you need to know those things about where your life is. And this is what's really tough, is because it's a hard look. It's a hard look, and not all of us want to look at ourselves and tell ourselves the truth about where we really are. But this is predicated on you being able to tell yourself the truth about where you are, be able to track and measure where you are, then be able to commit to what that level 10 looks like, and then be able to say and be honest with yourself and say, these are the things I've been doing that need to stop. These are the things that I need to start doing, and these are the things I've been doing that I need to do more of. And that whole system comes down to our ultimate success formula. These are things that, I've mentioned before. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this. I'll just kind of run through it. So step one, know your outcome. Right here, know your outcome. What does your primary aim look like? What does your life look like in 5 years? What do you want this year? What do you want this quarter? Know your outcome. We have to know what your outcome is. It's hard to hit a target when you don't even know what your target is. And that's the problem with having a blueprint of the way that we think our business should be, and then actually how our business is. We don't take the time to tell ourselves or to actually look and break down what this blueprint of what our business should be is. So what does that blueprint look like for you? You're stressed out and frustrated because you're not getting everything you want in your business because you think your business should be like this. This is the blueprint of what you think it is, but this is the way that it is. And there's this big gap. You don't even know what this is. So let's get clear on what that is. You have to know what it would look like to have that level 10 business. What does that absolutely look like? What is the target that we're after? So what I'm trying to show you is how all of these things coincide and go together. The wheel of life, a success formula, the art of life betterment. There's so many different ways to look at it, but every single one of them has the same integral keys here. These aren't surprises. These are things that have been done and people have been doing for a really long time. We just have to be able to commit to doing them. So again, ask yourself better questions. If you don't know what you want, ask yourself better questions. What is my outcome? What would make this a pleasurable experience? If you start asking yourself and teaching yourself to ask a better question, if you start to feel frustrated in a moment, stop yourself, realize what questions you're asking yourself, and try to form a better question that's going to put you in a better space. Because if you ask yourself, why would this buyer do that? That is so stupid. You're not going to be in a powerful state to fix that scenario or help to fix the scenario. So ask yourself a better question. What would it be? What could it be about this situation that caused the buyer to feel that way to make this decision? Start putting yourself in their shoes. Or what can I do to get ahead of that? How can I show this buyer that this isn't as bad as what they think? What are the, start asking yourself something different. So knowing what your outcome is. The other part is you'll hear this a lot, the reticular activating system. Your reticular activating system is going to start focusing on the things that you tell it to. If basically you told it something's important to you, and now it starts picking it out of your life, out of the crowd, everywhere you go. It starts finding and seeking those things out. Reticular activating system is the part that's part of your brain that zones all of the BS out, all the little stuff that you don't need to focus on, and only picks out the things that are important and makes you see those more. It's the reason that when you buy a car, you start seeing that car everywhere. You bought the car, told your brain it's important, sees it everywhere. So if you actually tell yourself and you ask yourself a powerful question, not a question like, why am I so fat? Your brain is going to find that that's important. Why am I so fat? Okay, prove to him why you're so fat. Because you eat a lot, because you do this, because you don't work out, because you don't do this. Ask yourself a better question. How can I lose 10 pounds, enjoy it, and get more healthy along the way? Your brain's going to start looking for those reasons instead of trying to prove yourself right. Why am I so fat? It's very powerful things to kind of know what you want. Ask yourself a better question. Start getting your brain in line with getting those outcomes. Next, know your reasons why. Obviously, we talk about this, have a big ass smile goal, a big, hairy, audacious goal, whatever you want to call it. You got to have a reason why. You got to have a purpose. Why? Because reasons comes first, answers come second. So a lot of us, we've had this happen to us. We know what we want. we know what that goal is that we want, and we start doing all of the things that we need to do, but we lose the drive, and it just becomes clear that we forgot the reason why we were doing it in the first place. For me and for those of you who have kids, sometimes it's easy because you come home and those reasons why are staring you right in the face. And it's easier that, but some of us need to implement a bigger reason why, a bigger reason, a bigger purpose, and we can help you with that as well. So, purpose provides your drive. Any person who's successful at something knows two things. They know what they want and why they want it. Steps 3 and 4. Steps 3 and 4, take massive action and then realize what you're getting from that massive action. So again, let's go back here. Know your outcome, know your reason why, take massive action. And as we're taking this massive action, coach with somebody to realize what you're getting from that massive action, to know what we have to change to try and make it better. So take massive action. What does Nike say? Just do it. With a clear outcome and a strong enough reason why, taking massive action is going to get you the results quicker, right? And if results aren't specifically what you wanted, we have to go to steps 4 and 5. You have to know what you're getting. So as we're taking this massive action with this big reason why and the big goal in place, you have to be able to start looking at what are the results that I'm getting and are they in line with the action that I'm putting out. The saying goes that you can take absolute massive action. My goal could be to see a sunset because I know it's the most beautiful thing ever and I've never seen one. And I could start running east with massive action and never stop, but I'm never going to get to the sunset because my actions are not in line with really getting that goal. So you have to know what you're getting, and you have to be able to measure, track and measure. One of the things that track and measure your business that every successful real estate agent does. So just knowing that, take massive action, know what you're getting, and what's the definition of insanity? If you don't realize and notice what you're getting, doing something over and over again and getting the same result, if you keep doing that and don't actually take the time to realize, well, what am I actually getting? Is it in line with the outcomes that I want? That's the definition of insanity. So let's make sure we change those things. Then change your approach. That's the last thing. So once you take massive action, realize what you're getting from it. If it's not working, change your approach. If it's not quite good enough, change your approach. If you're getting results, but not the results you want, change your approach. Don't change the goal. Don't change the things that you set out to do for this quarter. Don't change your goal of getting 1 listing per month and 1 buyer sale per month this quarter. Change the approach. I'm not calling at the right times. I'm not calling enough people. I'm not getting enough lead opportunities. Change the approach. What are we going to do to get you closer to those goals rather than changing that goal? You told yourself you wanted this. You told yourself why you wanted this. You took massive action and it didn't work. So what should you do? Try something else. And you've probably heard this before. How long would you give your average baby before they learn to walk and you just give up on them if they don't learn? How long do you give them? It's like, no, my kid's going to be a walker. I'm going to keep pushing. I'm going to keep trying. Well, I think there you go. That's the plan that you need to put in place. Know what you want, know why you want it, take massive action, and never give up. Don't change the outcome, change the approach that you're using. So as you can see, the whole principle for creating change, creating a life that you want, creating the business that you want, these all intertwine. So whether you're doing it for your personal life, your business life, that's exactly what this primary aim, Art of Life Betterment form is going to do. So if you haven't done this for your 4th quarter, now's the time to sit down, track and measure where you're at. Where am I with my business? If I was going to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, what would that be? Know where you want to go. What does a level 10 look like for me? And then start piecing this together. What does that level 10 look like? Really focus on those goals, those primary aims. Know what you're going to want in 5 years. Come back a year, come back to a quarter. Then we'll start putting a plan together, create this massive action plan, and we'll start piecing it all together to make sure that you get what you want. So before I log off, I have questions for you all, and I'd love for you all to share. So everybody that's online, if you can go down to your chat button, smash that chat button, open it up. Over here on the side, click the little down arrow. It says to all panelists and all panelists and attendees. And I want you to type in, what's one thing you're going to do today? What is something? We know that things will not change in your life until you change something you do daily. So what is something that you can change today that's going to make a difference in your life, that's going to create a better outcome for you? What is something you'll do today? What is something you are going to commit to doing today that you've been putting off or that you know you need to do that hasn't got done? Put it into the chat and type and share with us. What are you going to do today to make a difference? That's going to create a difference in your business, a difference in your life. That's going to make you feel fulfilled, make you feel successful. Today, I finish up the second half of my Zap calls and updates. Excellent. How many contacts is that? When are you going to do that? Big questions there. Knowing a schedule, knowing what the intention is. My intention is to finish up the second half of my Zap calls and updates. Okay, when are you going to do that? And how long are you allotting to do that? Perfect. DJ, I'm gonna stick to my plan. No excuses. Good. What is your plan? How many contacts is that? How many people are you going to be communicating with? What is the outcome that you want from doing that? I'm gonna stick to my plan. No excuses. Excellent. The 95 total, did half yesterday, the other half today. Perfect. Thanks, Melissa. I'm gonna clean out my pantry of all my junk food. There you go. That's an action. We can take that today. We can do that today. That's awesome. Next, manifest my truth. Perfect. Working on my mailers that I've been putting off, doing it now. So doing it now, working on my mailers. How many mailers is that? What are you going to do today? When are you going to do that? How many are you going to get out in the mail today? Get a new listing, Zap Quick Start Guide. Perfect, Dick. Do everything on my agenda, Jackie. Good. What's on your agenda? When are you going to do it? Do you have your intentions of what the outcome you want out of the day? By doing everything on your agenda, what do you want that to create for you at the end of the day? What's that feeling that you're after so that we know we can relate to that? Relentless follow-up. Awesome. Angela, I'm sending my first farming postcards today. Good job. Way to commit to something. Entering more in contacts in Zap. Good job. And I will market the open house I'm doing Saturday. Great. Now, how can we make these part of your daily activities? Because we know that things don't change until we change something we do daily. So doing something today is awesome. Now we just have to make sure we do something daily after that. Diane, 900 mailers. Way to go, girl. Make phone calls from my cold call list. Great, Andrea. How many calls are you going to make? How many are you going to do today? How long are you going to do them for? What time are you going to do them? And also focus, what is the outcome that you want out of it today? How many calls are you going to make? And what is that outcome? How many communications? How many contacts? How many listings? How many buyers? I'm calling everyone until they pick up. I have 94 leads and they've got in touch with 10%. The number will keep climbing. Way to go, girl. 10% of those that's 9 contacts today. That's great. Better water intake, at least a half a gallon. Perfect. That's a commitment today. You are doing that today. You are going to commit to consuming at least a half a gallon of water today. Better water intake. At least we know at least half a gallon. Let's know what that specific amount is. Half a gallon, but I'm shooting for this. Good job. Continue to add to my Zap. As a new agent, I need to earn knowledge to achieve confidence. So yes and no. So right now, this business is predicated on you taking action. So knowledge is great. You're going to get knowledge as you go through. Every single contract is different. Every listing is different. Every single experience is different. So as a new agent, you need experience. And I don't mean previous experience. You need to get out and take action and experience what you have going there. Confidence, I understand we need to have some confidence, but we can work through getting you a little bit more confidence in the things you're doing. Because why? Because you are good at talking to people. This is a people and communications business. This is not about homes. This is about you communicating with people, building rapport, building relationships with them. And if you can do that, you don't need any more confidence because we have your back. We will be there to support you in anything you need. When you get a listing, when you get a buyer, you get a question that somebody asks you. It's a great question. Let me break that down. Is there anything else you want me to look into while, when I go to get you that information? No, anything else? There's any other homes, any other questions, any other mortgage questions, whatever that is. So that's excellent. Doing mailers, 600 mailers today. Good job, Kel. I'm out of listings, need more. Great, Lauren, what are you going to do today to get more listings? So focus on that. What's a daily activity? What's something you could do today to get more listings? I used to walk every day, started walking again. Awesome. How far do you walk? How often do you walk? When are you going to commit to doing that? Every day at what time to make sure it's daily routine, daily ritual, and becomes part of your daily habits. Make 15 calls today. Great job, Joe. Afternoon marketing in different areas and then some pizza in the outlets in Ellington. There you go. That's a celebration. So that's another key here. I'll talk about that in a second. Shooting for a gallon of water a day. Perfect. Even bought the cute motivational water jug. That's awesome. So, Joe mentioned something about getting pizza at the outlets in Ellington. Celebrate. You got to celebrate your victories. You got to celebrate the great things that you did today. So if you're going to commit to doing something today and you're going to commit to doing something on these daily basis, what's going to make a difference? Give yourself some celebration. You have to acknowledge the things that you did and the successes that you had. So hitting FSBO is on my list more intensely. Awesome job, Lauren. All right, awesome. Thank you so much for those commitments today. Those are daily commitments. These are things you're going to do today to make your life, make your business better. Make sure that we can set some intentions to do them every single day. Like Jeff said yesterday, that a morning routine is key. When do you do consistent lead generation activities? When do you do them? And you should have a time every day that you do them. If you do that, your business will become successful, because that's what this is all about, is talking to more people. Happy Wednesday, September 23rd. Hope you guys have a great day. 7 days left in the quarter, fourth quarter right around the corner. Let's make it a great, amazing fourth quarter. Let's make it an amazing Christmas and an amazing New Year. Go out and get it, guys. If you have any questions, you need anything, please reach out. Have a great day.